Mr Speaker, kia ora koutou. Mr Speaker, the introduction of this bill brings a step closer to fulfilling a commitment made by the Royal Society in February this year, when in its memorandum with Te Whāinga Oranui, the Humanities Council, agreed to bring the two organisations closer. And the Green Party, seems to be the mood tonight, is very happy to support this bill. And as a person who did an arts degree at undergrad level and then went on to do a postgrad science degree, I'll feel somewhat less divided in my membership of the Royal Society, given that it is it's a very interesting place to be when one is moving between these two fundamentally different disciplines or approaches. Quite right. To an extent, this returns the Royal Society to its roots, taking its roots back to the Society in the UK, which came together in the 1640s as a college of natural philosophers who were then delving into this new model of observation, of experimentation, that in time become the empirically based science that we understand now. And clearly this reintegration with the humanities is, as I say, coming back to the roots of that organisation. Natural philosophy was a branch of philosophy, a theoretical branch coming from an ethical base, endeavouring to understand nature as it was then comprehended. Dare I say it, what we'd now refer to as the environment. So clearly there's a long history to this, the evolution of natural philosophy through to the scientific method, objective observation and the like. The downside, I guess, of the scientific method, which is clearly an incredibly powerful and has been a very productive approach, was a degree of hubris or pride and the disallowance, particularly of indigenous forms of knowledge, indigenous forms of investigation, understanding and interpretation of the natural world. And in the Western context, of course, the reaction to this excessive reliance on the scientific method were the more extreme forms of postmodernism. So where we're going now clearly is to find that pendulum swinging back closer to a centre point, to a value and to acknowledge the value both of scientific method and of a humanities or an arts-based approach to advancing knowledge, to research. In the modern age, if you like, back to the late 1950s, C.P. Snow, with his lecture and then his book, The Two Cultures, described the predicament very well when he observed that academics in the schools of the arts not only were unwilling to talk to the scientists and vice versa, but effectively unable, they were almost unable to communicate with one another. And clearly in the 20th and indeed the 21st century, that degree of division within our academic and our research debates would be simply unacceptable and would not advance us at all. In my own discipline of resource management, it was clear that it was critical that resource management decisions are best made when they're based on good scientific understanding, on geology, on ecology, on earth science, on all the other scientific disciplines, but also within the context, the cultural context established by law, by history, by economics. And it's only people who are trained and understand the powers and the weaknesses and limitations and strengths of all of those sub-disciplines that we do arrive at very good management decisions, how to deal with our natural world, how to manage in the interests of our communities, and indeed how to get good economic outcomes. So in short then, this we believe is a good bill. It's timely. We're very pleased to see the Society and the Humanities Council coming together in the firm belief that the new organisation over time will become much stronger than the sum of its parts. Kia ora koutou.